which ones do you hate next? Go ahead and say it so we
All
can
right,
get it out of the way.
like we're getting this out of the way. LSU at number 3. If we're going off of 4-year success, come on. I understand that they won the national championship in that time span. I understand, and I have them ranked highly because of the 1 year where they produced that massive haul of first round picks in the Joe Burrow class, the Jamar Chase class, or no, those were two separate classes. But that Joe Burrow class, a lot of talented players. They've had some good recruiting classes, but that transition period of when Ed O was out in that really bad year that they had, and then Brian Kelly coming in, I don't know if I can qualify them at number 3. They deserve to be in the top 10 for the success that they've had, all the games that they've won, the big games that they've won, including dominating in a national championship game. That's all huge. But to put them at 3, it's a little bit too high for my taste.
Joe, name this team. You ready?
Okay.
Over the last 4 years, they've either won or been to 2 SEC title games. They've won 1 national title, and they're 3rd in NFL draft picks. Name that team.
It's LSU.
It's Alabama. So now when I turn on to LSU, trick you, ho. Here's the thing. Do you know who's behind Georgia with the most NFL draft picks? LSU. It's not Alabama. You can Google it if you'd like. Last year, as an example, Georgia had 15 guys got drafted, right? Tied an LSU record of 2019, the 2019 team. LSU was second last year with 10. My point in with this LSU thing is this. I will forgive the Ed Orgeron saga at the end because, Joe, look at how much NFL talent they were producing. The talent has always been there. The program, and when we're not talking about teams. We're talking about programs, right? So you mean to tell me a team that's either played for or won the SEC twice, has won national title, is tied with the University of Alabama in a 4-year span, only behind the University of Georgia in national titles, that they do not deserve to be there? Joe, in the last 5 years, you can even go 5. Clemson's the only other team outside the SEC that's won a national title. When we started the show, I told you this. We have to put more emphasis on winning national titles. Joe, at any given year, when the Sugar Bowl is hosting a playoff game, LSU is going to be in it. Hey, is the Sugar Bowl hosting a playoff this year, by the way? LSU's played in every single one of them. My point is this. Any coach that's worth a salt or damn can come into LSU and win. You know how I know that? Because Les Miles got to 2 and won one of them, and Ed Orgeron won a national championship. My point is that when you start putting Alabama at number 2 and you have LSU and Alabama with the same type of championships or championship runs in a 4-year span, how are you going to tell me that you can put Alabama at number 2 and not LSU at number 3? Now, I conceded and said, you know what? I don't want to get into the debate because there's one thing that LSU does that LSU doesn't have. His name's Nick Saban. And quite honestly, I feel a little icky sometimes, even though I do cover LSU, of not putting Bama number 1 because of what they've done. But you cannot tell me when I start giving you the statistics or when I start telling you what's happened on and off the field that LSU shouldn't be up there. Joe, here's another thing. They won the West. The LSU, and I'm going to talk about this in serious depth tonight on my other show. Of the last 4 years, LSU and Alabama are 2-2 against each other. 2-2. Oh, by the way, you know who else they're 2-2 against? Georgia. So when we sit here and say, if you're going to put the top 2 teams 1-2, and then say that LSU is tying them in almost every metric besides Georgia with 1 national title.
Blake, I can't back placing a team in the top 3 that only has 1. And we're going off of this window. We've established this window is 4 to 5 years. Yours is 4, minus 5. I gave them an extra year. They have 1 college football playoff appearance. They won a national championship in that year, but they only have 1. That counts for something. We can add all these extra stats. I think that those are all great, but I can't move the goalposts.
You have Ohio State, who's not won a conference
championship. They've made it 3 times.